I know why they're replacing it.
Yeah.
Private setting and stuff like that.
So the pressure set on the wrong setting.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's a good call.
Just that one.
Yeah.
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 Okay, you guys ready?
Sure.
Just make sure we're live.
Yeah, because that one picture is old. It's definitely not live. Chairs are all empty.
Take your job. Call the meeting to order. I want to acknowledge the Smoking Valley, which we learned working to organize as the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory of the Smoking people, and home of the upper Smoking people. Adoption of the agenda. Thank you, Councilor. Will second.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Cuddy. All in favor? Carried. Takes us down to petitions and delegations, and we have Sergeant Neil Potter here to talk to us about the Q1 2024 stats. So yours.
Well, thanks for having me here. Nothing like these stats, and from January till end of March. So maybe a little late in the process. We'll get new stats soon enough, but we can kind of review those and I'll answer any questions if anybody has any. Our assault numbers seem to be up considerably compared to last year, 7 and 12. Reviewed these files. We had charges on almost half these files. Actually, one was coded wrong, so it's not 12, it's 11. Just an admin portion of it, so it wasn't an assault file. It was something close to it, but shouldn't have been there. So yeah, five files with charges. In 83% of the assault files, the victim and the subject of complaint are known to each other. 1/3 of those involve intimate partner violence. So in there's not any repeat couples except for one where we've been there a few times, and we have submitted for charges and a peace bond there to resolve that situation. All the other files, nothing too concerning. We had 2 of the files were some youth fighting over stuff, minors. One was an elderly parent had a fight with her child, a minor, where we intervened to kind of give him support there. And one was with a parent with a child with mental illness. So we got to card those. They're part of our stats, but nothing too concerning for. We did have a neighbor dispute involving alcohol. Ended up in a fight, but it was a consensual fight. So I guess they just reported it to cover themselves and make sure everything they wouldn't get in trouble. So yeah, so there's no real explanation to the numbers going up except for maybe people calling us a little more to report those, but I don't think it's too concerning at this point. I did break them down in regions this time because I had a little bit of time and maybe there was some interest in knowing where these take place. So out of the 12, we had 9 in Princeton and 3 in Hedley, so about 1/4, 25% out of Hedley. All the rest was Princeton and the rural area. Nothing in Beaumont-Toomey for this quarter. We have here sex offenses, 2 to 3. Yeah, the numbers are pretty consistent. When we can, we charge obviously for these types of files. So 3 files, we have 2 charges. Uttering threats is kind of high for that quarter, up 3 to 9. We have charges on 2 of these. Again, nothing too concerning on the threats. I don't know if it's because people have a tendency to call us more, which is a good thing. We do. That's what we kind of ask them to do when disputes happen. Yeah, 2 charges out of out of 9. So, we charge when we have enough to charge. All the rest is, neighbor disputes, non-repeat. When we have neighbor disputes that kind of repeat themselves, we take measures for that to stop, which usually ends up in a piece longer. Something down that avenue. Mother and child, again, messages. There's a lot of stuff going on. Messenger and open source and Facebook, like borderline threats where people kind of feel threatened by some comments, but people tend to write stuff. And it's free flow information, so we do address those, and usually it ends up being speaking with both parties and kind of resolving this, and maybe taking down some posts and stuff like that. So that is a big part of the threat files, really. Intimate partner violence, 4 to 5. Again, numbers are pretty consistent. We always charge when we can, when we have enough there. We put in measures to protect the victim as protocols. Auto theft is a little bit higher. I broke these down. To kind of have an idea of what's going on. Like the most commonly stolen vehicles are trailers. Most of the time, trailers that are kind of, I don't know, stored or left out in rural areas. Mostly, we didn't get many trailers stolen out of people's yards and stuff like that. We have our known offenders in town that we keep an eye on. This quarter, we had one of our offenders that was carded twice on files, but I reviewed those, and he was carded, but like involved, but not involved as a suspect in the thing, mostly maybe living out of one of the trailers after. But we do keep an eye on our repeat offenders for that. 2 vehicles stolen out of Princeton were recovered in the Lower Mainland, indicating people just need a ride out of town. So seems kind of complicated to steal a vehicle and leave town, but some people might find it easier actually getting a ride or with the bus. So we got 2 of those. And the vehicle theft is a plague really through the whole Southeast district. We're not the worst part of the Southeast right now. I know Oliver and Vesuvius and Penticton, they've had a lot of those. So there's the media's been advised. There's crime prevention measures that are taking place, and arrests made in Penticton and Oliver, which ultimately could kind of help us because these offenders, they don't have boundaries, right? So they yeah. So that's about it for vehicle theft. Break and enter 3 to 5, 67% higher. Again, breaking these down. We had squatters in an abandoned house. That's called a break and enter. They force themselves in and they live there for a little bit, and then we get a complaint. So we did have a CCAN break and enter. Usually, again, CCANs with very limited, video footage, or they're kind of remote, and they're hard to break into. But when you have time, you can do anything really. We did arrest. Two break-ins in a storage unit. There was one suspect that was ongoing for a little bit. Storage unit in town. Always the same people involved. So we did speak with the people, warned everybody, got all the information. We had a suspect, not enough to charge. So it's borderline, like people knowing each other and knowing stuff is there and they're going to get it. So it's it's break and enter, but with the backstory to it, really. Abandoned house, again, there was stuff stored there that was taken, not high value, but that's a break-in. And yeah, we had a file with a house with multiple tenants, like multiple rooms, and then I don't know for what reason some tenants end up going in a different person's room to see or take something that maybe theirs and it ends up being a break and enter, just because that's how the law is written, right? So yeah, just all that to say, there's no major concerns on break and enters. And that kind of explains the numbers. All the others are either lower or pretty much the same as last year. Anybody have any questions?
Good. Couple, you guys have any?
Yeah, you don't see anything on like drug related incidents or
We do. Every file, when drugs or alcohol is involved, every file has a code, either yes or no. Is it directly related to the file? I guess would be the interest. In some cases, yeah, like obviously assaults, threats. Not all the time, but it does have. And it's
like no drug dealings
oh, drug dealings.
that kind of stuff.
We get the odd information here and there
Yeah.
on drug dealings. Like nothing. Sometimes it's more to kind of get back at somebody, and so we kind of investigate that, and ends up being not much. So are there any drug dealings in town? Maybe, probably, like there's drugs around. Having it legalized a couple of years back kind of made it the new normal to have drugs left and right. Now the law is slowly changing, so that might maybe permit us to do policing like we used to a little more to address drugs and drug dealings and people in possession of drugs.
Yeah.
At least in the wrong places, right? You wouldn't expect having people with drugs now anywhere in town. So yeah, I think that will probably change slowly as we move on. Yeah.
I'm curious about the abandoned 911 figures. Is that up or down from previous, and what kind of procedures followed after that? Is there some sort of follow-up?
We have them on there. That's abandoned 911. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's your top 10.
Yeah, if they're not right there, I don't think they're really significantly up or down. Abandoned 911 calls, we take those. Those are priority 1 calls for us every time. So like we have to go and we'll go and assess. I don't have exact numbers on that, but I got to say, I think easily half of those are mistakes, errors, wrong number, children. I don't know if people have 911 speed dial. I don't know, but
There's a function on an iPhone that you can put your button in.
yeah. So we get a lot of. Obviously, we respond to all of those, and then we deal with whatever we got there. Are they up or down? I don't have the numbers. I can check those maybe for next time, see if we're around 15 for that period. Maybe I can send you guys an email and let you know.
Perfect. Thank you.
The auto thefts. How many of those do you know your keys or
Oh yeah.
what in the vehicle and not?
How many of those? Well, if we talk about actual vehicles, because we have a lot of camper trailers and trailers, so these are probably like 43% of. So take out half of the vehicle thefts, and then for the vehicles that were actually stolen, we had one with the keys inside in Manning Park. People are camping in it and they think they're safe, really, because they're out in the police. Thieves are aware of that, and they have their little. They go around and they check vehicles. If the keys are in there, they might have a tendency to take the vehicle. So one had the keys in. One was unlocked. So yeah, another one of the vehicle was unlocked, which kind of led to getting stuff stolen out of it. But surprisingly, the thieves, I don't know if they have information or not, but they went into the house, which was also unlocked, found the keys and left with the vehicle. So I don't know, were the keys really easy to find on a hook near the door? I think they were kind of like in the den, so maybe they were easy to identify. To me, it was a little surprising to go in there, there's no keys, you need a vehicle, you go in the house. So that kind of led us to getting a vehicle stolen and a break and enter. The vehicle, we haven't. That's one of the vehicles that was found in the lower mainland, so probably somebody really needed to leave town and do all that, you know, that's what I'm talking about, like going through a lot of trouble to get out of town, really. So yeah, did we arrest somebody on that? No. Is the investigation ongoing? Yeah, it's open. But the vehicle was recovered. Nobody in there, so not easy to.
Yeah, exactly. CSI. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And then same thing with the theft from vehicle, most of those are from vehicles that are unlocked, are they not?
Mostly, yeah. I mean, if you have valuables in the vehicle that you can see from outside, windows can be smashed or something can be forced. But usually what we see is really unlocked vehicles in remote areas. If you have a vehicle somewhere with, you know, people around, or if you hide your valuables or take them out of there, very rarely, like I haven't seen files where people break windows to kind of hope to get $3.50 of change, right, from somewhere. You got to see something you really want to go through that.
And those numbers have, like, just so council, so those numbers have come down a bit. In the past, Sergeant users be upset because most of the theft from vehicles, people like leaving their wallet in their console where you can see it, and other things just sitting on a seat. People walk by and it's not locked. Grab it.
Yeah. Opportunity creates crime, right? So we're working, and when most of our numbers in the summer at least come from Manning Park. So I'm working with the manager over there right now. Like we can't install cameras everywhere and lighting and all that. We'll put up signs to remind people that, you know, they need to lock their cars and all that. It's just pretty basic. I guess when you're out there, you kind of feel like everything's really safe. Lock your cars. If they're out camping and sleeping in a tent, lock the vehicle, and at least, you know.
And then I guess the last one I have is now that it's nice out, are we seeing an increase in bicycle theft, or is that kind of gone?
I haven't seen any. We'll probably see numbers next quarter. If I haven't seen many files of bicycle thefts. If there are, or if people report them, I don't know. Again, bicycle thefts to me would be the same as leaving your vehicle unlocked. Probably related to where you leave the bike and in what state, and if is it locked or not. So if we do see an increase in that, then I guess it'll be probably the same. Advise people, give recommendations as to how to secure their bikes, right? Because it's a means of transport and opportunity, right? Like if bikes are stolen in town, it's probably to get from point A to point B more than to try to sell it on base market.
I know in the past there was a few regulars that were stealing bikes.
Okay, well,
Most of them are. So.
okay, well, there you go. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you so much. So we'll go to the next part, which is a motion